Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this presentation on the Skills Builder approach to essential skills. Now, just by way of introduction, I am Jonah Mungoshi, and I am working with my wife, Ethel, who at the moment is responding to a call from one of the participants who would like us to send a link to the meeting. So Ethel is handling that. And the two of us are registered a trust, and the trust is called Skills Builder Africa. And we are affiliated with Skills Builder Partnership, who are going to be addressing us today. So the issue of essential skills is an issue that is timely, that is urgent, and that has seen a convergence of minds where people from different schools of thought have come to the realization that academic skills alone are not enough to prepare our students for the world out there. That in addition to these academic skills, we need what are being termed essential skills or 21st century skills or core skills in some circles. But the challenge has been, how do we impart these skills to our students? What model can we use? What approach do we adopt? Especially in an environment where there are competing requirements on our students, particularly to do with entry into college, with academic qualifications, with many other requirements that are on the table. So the Skills Builder approach presents one option, but it's an option that has been tried, tested, and developed in a very objective and scientific way. So this presentation is to share with you the Skills Builder approach and also to invite you to be part and parcel of the partnership if you so wish. So the way the presentation will unfold is that I'll hand over to James, who's presenting from London, and he will share with us a little bit about the background of Skills Builder, what Skills Builder is, and also how it can assist our schools and our students. He'll then hand over to me, and I'll talk to you about Skills Builder Africa and our offer, including the special offer that has come from Skills Builder to encourage schools to adopt the Skills Builder approach and to also support them. And then at the end of that, we will have a question and answer session where you can raise questions for us as Skills Builder Africa and also for James. So without wasting time, and by the way, we are planning to be done before 12:30. So we don't plan to spend an hour in here. We plan to spend less than an hour. But at this point, let me hand over to James. Over to you, James.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jonah. And hello, everybody. Great to meet you all. So yeah, my name is James. I'm the Global Networks Manager at the Skills Builder Partnership. I'm an educator. Before joining Skills Builder back in 2016, I was a head of music in secondary schools in South London. But I've always been very interested and passionate about building transferable skills for young people, primarily through music, through my time in teaching, and now through wider curriculum and education institutions working at Skills Builder. So my current role allows me to work with educators and impact organisations based outside of the UK. So I'm delighted to be able to work with people like Ethel and Jonah, who do such fantastic work, kind of supporting the development of essential skills. And I've also worked very closely with organisations like the British Council to deliver workshops and trainings for national curriculum design centres and exam boards in countries like Uganda and Kenya as well. So I'm really, really excited and very happy to be speaking with you today. So the Skills Builder Partnership, we are a not-for-profit social enterprise set up back in 2009 by our CEO, Tom Ravenscroft, who himself was a high school teacher here in the UK, teaching business studies. And what Tom very quickly realised, working with his group of learners in East London, was that although they were achieving academically and they were leaving schools with grades and exam results that would allow them to kind of take the next steps into university or into the world of work, actually what the students were lacking were highly transferable skills to really allow them to be successful in their wider lives and in employment as well. You know, that ability to collaborate with others, that ability to communicate effectively, or to be able to manage yourself, or think critically and be able to problem solve. So Tom set up Skills Builder back in 2009, first working with educators and schools across London and then the UK and then globally. And in more recent years, we've also started to work with employers and impact organizations, all working towards achieving the mission that one day everyone will build these essential skills to succeed. And now we have over 75% of secondary schools in the UK engaging with our universal framework and our language of essential skills. We've got over 100 employer partners based in the UK who are supporting the development of essential skills with young people and also their workforce. And we work with over 160 impact organizations as well, who work with learners of all ages, helping them to build and develop essential skills through a variety of different settings and contexts. But what we're really passionate about, and what our work has always very much been focused on since the very start, is working with schools and colleges and educators to support them to be able to teach and assess these essential skills so we can make a real impact on how young people develop them during their time in education, to make sure that they are successful in their later lives and doing their studies as well. But what do we mean by essential skills? We know that they are highly transferable, but actually, what is an essential skill? Well, obviously, during our time in education, we look to develop a number of different skills with learners. Obviously, our education systems are set very much to develop basic skills like literacy, numeracy, basic digital skills to ensure that our young people can be successful. And later on in education and during an individual's time in work, we'll look at very technical skills. So those skills that are required for particular roles or industries, that ability to do nursing, that ability to do accountancy, or that ability to operate a forklift. Very, very important skills in particular settings and contexts, but not necessarily that transferable beyond those. What we focus on at Skills Builder are the essential skills. So these are skills that almost everyone needs to do almost any job, and support the application of technical skills and knowledge as well. So we have 8 essential skills in total. We have the communication skills of listening and speaking, so that ability to receive and retain information or ideas with listening, and that ability to orally transmit information or ideas in speaking. We have the skills of problem solving and creativity. So problem solving, being able to generate solutions to challenges or situations, and creativity, being able to generate ideas that are brand new. We have the self-management skills of staying positive and aiming high. Aiming high is all about being able to set tangible, meaningful targets and understand the route you need to go through to be able to achieve those targets and goals. And staying positive is having those strategies and tools to overcome setbacks when you're working towards achieving them. And then finally, we have the collaboration and interpersonal skills of leadership and teamwork. Teamwork, being able to work with others towards achieving a shared goal, and leadership, being able to support, coach, and mentor others towards achieving a shared goal. And as Jonah mentioned, these skills are not unique to Skills Builder. They're called 21st century skills, core skills, skills for life, employability skills. But what we're trying to do at Skills Builder is ensure that there is a consistent language and a consistent understanding about what these skills mean and what they look like in different contexts, and to ensure that these skills are no longer abstract but very tangible things that students can build an understanding of, that teachers can teach effectively, and that employers can recruit and build as well. So in order to support us to be able to do that, back in 2019, we launched a tool called the Skills Builder Universal Framework, which helps us to break down each of these 8 skills into teachable, measurable chunks. And this work was done with a task force called the Essential Skills Task Force that we set up, which included representatives from education and employment in the UK to look at whether the framework that we were using previously could also be used outside of that education setting with employers and in that impact organization space with learners of all different ages as well. So what we've created is a framework that isn't only something that kind of breaks these skills down into more tangible, teachable, measurable chunks, but also is a language that can be used by learners of all ages, whether they are in kindergarten or primary school, secondary school, college, university, or after their time in mainstream education and are in employment. It's one language that everybody can use and can be truly universal in supporting the development of these essential skills. But how does this work? What does this actually look like? Well, let's take problem solving as an example. It's a skill that lots of teachers want to build with their students. It's a skill that lots of students themselves think is very important and they want to build as part of their education as well. But how do we break that skill down into something that is more practical, something that's more teachable, something that's more measurable? Well, first of all, we need to make sure we've got a very clear definition of what problem solving is. And we define problem solving as the ability to find a solution to a situation or a challenge. And it's that one definition that we use right across the partnership when using the universal framework. And the thinking that we've then done is to actually think about, well, if we're looking to develop this particular skill, then how does that build over time and what does problem solving actually look like? Well, we know the skill focuses on how to solve problems, but it's also recognizing that problem solving is technical know-how and experience, and that there are also transferable tools that individuals can develop and use. So the first step will focus on being able to follow instructions to complete tasks, knowing when to seek help and extra information if needed. The next stage then focuses on being able to explore different problems by creating and assessing different potential solutions. And this also then includes more complex problems without a simple technical solution. Beyond that then, the focus is on exploring complex solutions, thinking about causes and effects, generating options and evaluating those options, and then extending into analysis using logical reasoning and hypothesis. And then finally, being able to use all of that to implement strategic plans to solve complex problems, assess their success, and draw out learning for the future. So the work we've already done is help to break down what problem solving is as a skill, but then also to think about how that develops from the very foundations of getting started right the way through to a mastery. So in our framework, each of our skills are broken down into 4 stages, which reflects that progression over time as well. So when we're getting started, it's about being able to complete tasks. The intermediate stage is then thinking about how we explore problems. The advanced stage being able to analyze complex problems and solutions. And then finally, that mastery stage being able to implement strategic plans. And we've broken those stages down then even further into incremental steps to help us to better understand how we develop the stage of completing tasks. So first of all, in this first stage, it's about being able to complete tasks by following instructions. Once you're able to do that, then it's completing tasks by finding someone to help if you need it. Then it's thinking about being able to explain the problems that you're facing to someone for advice if needed. And then finally being able to complete tasks by finding information you need yourself. So those 4 steps allow us to build that stage of completing tasks in problem solving. With that intermediate stage, then we've again broken that down in the same way, this time into 5 steps. So it starts by being able to explore problems by creating different possible solutions, then thinking about the pros and the cons of those possible solutions and evaluating them, then being able to explore more complex problems by identifying when there are no simple technical solutions, then being able to explore complex problems by understanding through research, and then finally by analyzing the causes and effects. So again, each of those steps building up one from each other to develop that stage of exploring problems in the skill of problem solving. And we've done that then for the other stages, as you can see, with the advanced stages and the mastery stages. And we've done that across the board with all 8 skills. And each of those skills is broken down into 4 stages and 16 steps. And as I said earlier on, this is one language that we use right across the Skills Builder partnership. So no matter whether we're working with schools, colleges, employers, impact organizations like Skills Builder Africa, who are members of the Skills Builder partnership, it's this one language that we are all using to ensure that there is consistency and that there's a tangible nature to developing these skills as well. In an education setting, what this allows us to do then is to support schools to be able to assess students' development of essential skills by supporting teachers to be able to baseline and formatively assess progress in essential skills by using the STEP language to track where students are at, what their strengths are, what their areas of development are. It also then allows teachers to really focus tightly on the area of the skill that needs to be developed for the student at that particular time. So it's more relevant, it's more accessible, it will allow the students to make real progress and celebrate that success as well. It also allows schools then to consider how they develop these skills in other aspects of the school timetable or the school curriculum. So potentially looking at how skills are developed outside of the careers or PSHE environment, and maybe looking at other subject areas and how essential skills can be developed through there. And also then making that link between education and employment, where students are maybe getting the opportunity to link with employers and understand more about the world of work and how essential skills are so essential in those settings for all different types of roles and jobs as well. So that's the Universal Framework. It was created back in 2019 and is now being used by hundreds of thousands of learners across the globe. In fact, 1.4 million, if I'm going to be more accurate, individuals across the globe are using the Universal Framework to help them build their essential skills. And we've got over 600 schools, both in the UK and globally, who are now using the Universal Framework to build essential skills as well. So at this point now, I'm going to hand over to Jonah, who's going to tell us a little bit more about the work of Skills Builder Africa. But before he does that, I'll give him an opportunity to introduce himself and Ethel as well. Thank you, Jonah.
Thank you very much, James. We appreciate that overview you've given. I noticed that a number of participants joined whilst you were giving a presentation, some of them rather late, but we are recording. So just to assure you, we are recording and we will send you that recording. Right. My name is Jonah Mungoshi. I have spent over 10 years working with the British Council on 21st century skills, also known as core skills. And as we've said, these are really synonymous with essential skills. And I have won awards with the British Council. I'm a validated master trainer. I've trained in quite a number of countries. And I also have, the honor of having been one of the 3 top speakers in the world in 2002, when I was the 3rd best speaker in the world. And I've worked with a number of schools, particularly 8-tier schools. I've been a guest speaker at a number of schools, as is indicated here. So today I'm speaking to you in my capacity as one of the directors of Skills Builder Africa. And our role is really to share the model that has been developed by Skills Builder Partnership in Africa. And we've started by focusing on our own home country, which is Zimbabwe. And what we aim to do is to assist you to adapt this model to your unique school and to assist you to apply it so that your students benefit. With me here is my wife, who is also my co-director, Ethel. So let me allow Ethel to say a few words.
Okay, my name is Ethel. I've been teaching for 11 years. I teach commercial subjects. I also am an online trainer for English as a foreign language. I am working currently on Girls Up program which really focuses on the girls that are disadvantaged, who, in order for them to reach their full potential. And I'm also part of a team and team breakthrough program, which develops life skills in teenagers.
Thank you, Ethel. So as I said before, we will have an opportunity to respond to your questions at the end. So what Skills Builder is offering is what I'm going to cover here right now. Skills Builder Skills Builder Africa, let me distinguish that. Skills Builder Africa is a trust that we registered in 2019. It's duly registered here in Zimbabwe. It is a member of the Skills Builder Partnership, and its aim is to support schools to use the Skills Builder approach in Zimbabwe and in the rest of Africa. In order to assist schools to onboard to join the Skills Builder Partnership, we have negotiated with Skills Builder Partnership, and we are excited to give you this offer. What we are offering is on-site training for an unlimited number of your teachers. So once you join, we will come over and provide that training. And that training will be structured in 2 half-a-day face-to-face sessions. So we could come and take a Wednesday morning and train your staff, and we break, and then we take the Thursday morning after that and we train your staff. And because we really want to make sure that you are assisted, the training is reinforced, we'll then do a follow-up of 4 weekly 1-hour online coaching sessions. So you'll have sessions such as this one, but only for your school and your teachers that will be involved in the program, and we'll be able to answer any questions they have and to assist them, because at this point, they'll be now implementing what we will have covered, and we'll be supporting them in that implementation. As James has already indicated, there are numerous resources that have been developed by Skills Builder Partnership that are online, but we will help your teachers to navigate this online environment, this rich environment, and to use it optimally. In addition to that, when schools join the partnership, they are required to pay a fee if they are going to benefit from being professional members. When you are a professional member of Skills Builder, you are able to have access to the school admin function. The school admin function enables you to enter your students into the system, to track the performance of your students, and to have an up-to-date record of how each student is progressing within Skills Builder. So we have negotiated with Skills Builder Partnership that they will allow the first 10 schools in Zimbabwe that join the partnership before or by the 31st of December 2022 to enjoy 1-year membership on the Skills, on the Hub or the Skills Builder platform for free. They'll be getting the professional functionality for free, and that functionality is worth £1,000 per year. So this is a special that is actually unprecedented. I was talking to James. They've never offered this to anybody else anywhere in the world, and they've offered it to the first 10 schools that join. So what you will need to pay for if you join Skills Builder between now and the 31st of December is the training that we will provide. And that training fee is $1,000. That covers our training on site at your school anywhere in Zimbabwe. And it covers our transportation to the school. It covers our accommodation whilst we are there. And it covers 2 half-a-day training sessions, as well as 4 weekly 1-hour online coaching sessions. So that is the offer. And if you'd like to find out more, you can send an email to ethel@skillsbuilderafrica.org. So having shared all this with you, I think we can move on to questions and answers. You may have questions, and James and ourselves are here ready to answer your questions. Feel free to raise your hand, and once I acknowledge you, you can unmute and ask your question or share a comment. Feel free to participate. So at this point, I'll pause and wait for your questions, comments, or any other remarks or feedback.
Good morning, Jonah.
Miriam, please go right ahead.
Thank you for your presentation. My question is on the age group that we are looking at here. Are we able to infuse these skills into, say, the 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, up to the 18-year-olds? As teachers, I'm looking at myself as a teacher, and I say to myself, can this be infused in geography, in accounting, in history, in literature, or it has to be a new subject, so to speak, that we need to introduce on the curriculum in order to impart these skills to our students? Thank you. I hope my question is very clear.
Very clear. Thank you very much, Miriam. Let me answer part of it, and then I'll hand over to James to answer the other part. Dr. Kondo, I can see your hand is up. We will call on you to ask your question once we've finished responding to Miriam's question. So on the age aspect, the universal model that has been developed is applicable to students right from the very young age of, say, 3 years old, all the way up to university and beyond. So the universal aspect speaks to the fact that this model has been prepared in such a way that it is applicable at any age, really. So even right now as adults, we could take the test and assess ourselves that in terms of, say, the skill of problem solving, where am I? What proficiencies do I need to develop? And it will help. So age-wise, it applies to all ages. But let me ask James to speak a little bit about how we approach it in terms of incorporating it in our school into our existing curriculum. Over to you, James.
Yeah, so as Jonah mentioned, the universal framework and its language is suitable for application with learners of all ages, and that also is then adaptable for different contexts as well. So, you know, the universal framework has been purposely written in a very neutral way so that it can be added into subject areas, you know, so whether it is about accountancy or through history or through the arts or through English, whatever it might be, the skills can be embedded and can be either directly taught or reinforced through those subject areas as well. And we've got lots of really, really great examples of schools right across the globe who have taken that framework and have either found specific time in the timetable to teach these essential skills, or have found time in their existing subject areas and topics to build these skills as well. So it's a very flexible approach, and really as a school, it's about finding what works best for you, for your teachers, for your students, and then making sure that you can do that as effectively as possible as well.
Right. I hope you answered, Miriam. For now, let's move on to Dr. Kondo. If you still have a follow-up question, Miriam, just raise your hand and I'll come back to you. Dr. Kondo, over to you.
Thank you so much, Jonah. My contribution is just to comment on, you know, I think we need, it's high time that our teachers are equipped with skills to be able to infuse in students, you know, issues to do with problem solving. And I think you've come at the right time, at the right moment, to try as much as possible to get our teachers to be involved in this. There's been a lot of talk and very few actions being taken. And I think this is a good initiative. And I want to be a part and parcel of the 1 to 10. You can count me in. Because I see opportunity, and where opportunity is, that's where our greatest, you know, inevitability lies. So I believe that this is a great initiative, Jonah. Thank you so much. That's my contribution.
Thank you, Doc. Appreciate it. We have taken down the name of Riding School, and we'll definitely be contacting you soon after this presentation. Let's hear other comments and questions. Please feel free. We could take maybe 9 or 10 more minutes, and then we will end this presentation. Okay, whilst we are waiting for questions, maybe let me just go around the room and just ask for your comments, your immediate feedback to what we have just presented. Christine Porfo, would you like to just share with us, what are your thoughts on what has been presented? Christine, if you can hear me, please unmute if you're able to, and just share with us your thoughts. All right, let's move on. Esther, any feedback from you, Esther? Any immediate reaction to the presentation, Esther? People are unusually quiet today. Gerald.
Yeah, I had a very interesting experience at the beginning of this term. I didn't have a grade 3 teacher because we hadn't yet recruited one. And I went into our grade 3 class, and must remember that grade 3s were the beginning of the lockdown when we didn't have formal education, and we were doing what I believe is a very good e-learning program. And it struck me that how many of the skills that we talked about here, even the basic listening skill that these children didn't have, started examining this more closely, and I sort of worked out that in e-learning, in the low-fault environment that we are here, that there was a certain amount of cherry picking by children to activities they wanted to do, but there was things that were far more basic. When the children were at home, if they weren't being supervised in their e-learning by anybody, they could get up and walk away from the device, go to the kitchen, open the fridge, they'd go to the bathroom whenever they wanted, where suddenly they're in an environment of a school, and they, for 2 years, they didn't have to worry about going to the bathroom. They could go whenever they wanted. And in a classroom situation, you can't have that. And I quickly learned that these children have got so many basic fundamental learning skills, like listening, is the one that I picked up straight away, and even being able to speak and communicate within a group that they don't have. And I'm talking about 8-year-olds. I'm not talking about older people. I'm talking about 8-year-olds who missed out on the first 2 years of that formal education where we've got to get established those fundamental learning working habits. The Star Foundation in Tennessee was very strong on that when they talked about class sizes and how class sizes on smaller groups were so important in the first 3 years of a child's formal education. And it all came together through that Star Foundation research that, yeah, our children, no matter how fantastic our e-learning programs were, when they were at home, if they weren't being closely supervised, weren't being closely monitored by family member, older brother or sister, which in some cases was a disaster, those skills are missing. And I don't know what other people found in their schools. I'd be interested to hear what Paul Davis had to say, being in a boarding school. I heard Jonah's also a boarding school at Ridings. But I think there are fundamentals that are missing. I mean, a simple task I gave the class to do was to use paper clips to join 2 pieces of paper together. They couldn't do it. I'm not saying now that now becomes a basic skill that most of us assume is done without even thinking. And now looking at the Skills Builder program, I'm thinking to myself, this has come at the right time, I think, post-COVID, where a lot of fundamental basic skills of learning haven't been done. We haven't done much problem solving. Yes, we've done lots of e-learning. I'm not denying the quality of those e-learning. Yes, we use Google Classroom and we used a variety of other methods. But I think we are in the post-COVID era. This is something that's needed for our teachers to be able to then impart into the classroom, into a cross-curricular approach, not to have a separate lesson as part of the curriculum where you have today we're going to do skills builder. No, I think it should be integrated into every aspect of our learning and our teaching processes. That's my view.
Thank you very much, Gerald. Thank you for that detailed feedback and also some of the insights you gave us that we might not have been aware of. May we hear from Christine? Your hand is up, Christine. Please go ahead, unmute and talk to us.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, wonderful. I just wanted to say what the last speaker said, that these are the problems we face. For example, today I was in a lesson and I realized my students cannot follow simple instructions, like basic instruction to say, do this, don't do that. And it was a bit, I don't know how to explain it, but you get frustrated and you get to a point where you don't really know what you should do or how you can help them because they just can't follow instructions. And I think that's an essential skill that students need. And so I'm thinking if we're able to get access to this training and probably pass it on, and I think also it would be good for you people when you are able to come around and all that to talk to the parents also, because I think these skills start, the work starts at home. Like a parent emphasizing the need for a child to just follow an instruction so that when they come to school, they understand the importance of that. So I think that that is one thing that I really feel would be relevant. I'm not saying all the other things are not, but it's one of those things that I just thought I would mention today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christine. Greatly appreciated. Just to point out that the 8 essential skills are listening, speaking, problem solving, creativity, staying positive, aiming high, leadership, and teamwork. So you'll find definitely the ability to follow instructions is covered in those 8. I would like to make a commitment here that when we come over to your schools to train, if you join Skills Builder between now and the 31st of December, we'll be more than happy to have a session with the parents, a 1.5 to 2 hour session with the parents, where we discuss the skills and also discuss some of the findings from research on how parents can best support their children in developing these skills. So this is not something that was on the table. We had not planned it, but given your request, Christine, I'm making this offer on behalf of Skills Builder Africa, that we will avail ourselves to do that. Maybe in the morning, we have our session with the teachers, and in the afternoon, if the school has already pre-arranged it, we can have a session for the parents. Let's move on to Rachel. Your hand is up. Please unmute and talk to us.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you, James, for that presentation. And thank you, Jonah. I'm in agreement with everyone. I think these are very important skills to impart to our young people, especially looking at post-COVID. There's a lot that happened and a lot of skills were lost. And we need to get back to that place where we used to be in terms of the listening and so forth. But I just wanted to zero in on staying positive. Being in a high school, what I'm noticing most about our young people is they lack the resilience, they lack that focus to stay positive and keep pushing. They give up so easily, you know, they fail one test and for them, that's it. They don't feel like they need to push or to strive for more, like the aiming high part. So I really believe that we need to get them back into that zone where they need to work for what they get and not give up so easily. So that aspect of staying positive is quite critical, because once they lose that positivity, they're moving into drugs, and then we've got all these mental health challenges. I think post-COVID, we've had a lot of suicide attempts, self-harming, and I think mental health is a huge part of human development. And I think that these skills are essential. And thank you very much for this opportunity. Hopefully we'll engage further.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Appreciated. Before we close, is there anyone with one last question? Anyone with one last question or comment?
Yes, Jonah.
Yes, Miriam, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Let me start by commenting and say, I agree with the last 2 speakers who were talking about the effects of COVID-19 on the current generation, in particular of high school students, because I'm at a high school, and I know the kind of challenges that the students are faced with. They lack grit, they lack resilience, and they quickly give up and say, and think that the solution to the problems of this world is to commit suicide. So if this program will be adopted by, if it was possible for most, if not all high schools to adopt this program, it would really save a lot of lives, not to talk about the importance of the skills in adult life or in adolescent life, but just saving life, because when somebody commits suicide, that's the end of it. So we can't talk of skills development when we have got a corpse in front of us. And I'm looking at these 8 that you've given us, the listening, speaking, creativity, and whatever. You find that most of the syllabi that we follow, we are a Cambridge school, these skills are being tested in a number of subjects. Problem solving, for example, you find it in almost every syllabus from IGCSE to A level. And it has not been easy for us as teachers to be able to impart the problem solving skill to the students. So it's very easy for us as adults to blame students for having failed to solve a problem. But if we may be honest with ourselves, are we able to solve problems that we encounter in our own lives? So this program is coming in not just to address pass rates in our various schools, but also to help us, to equip us as adults with these skills which are needed for anybody to survive in real life. So I am very grateful, and I think you are doing a good job. I just hope that most of us will be able to come on board before the expiry of this offer on the 31st of December. But I can see a lot of potential in what you are trying to offer to us. And if we come on board, surely both adults and the teenagers and even the young ones will be able to benefit from it. Thank you, John.
Thank you very much, Miriam. I totally appreciate those words of wisdom and also the contributions from all the members. We really are faced with significant challenges post-COVID. And I think one of the most glaring manifestations of the challenges that are besieging us is this issue of drug abuse, of suicide, especially among young people. If I'm not mistaken, they were saying about 70 to 80% of those who are in institutionalized centers where they are getting mental health assistance is due to drug abuse. And lack of that ability to think positively, the grit, the resilience, the leadership contributes a lot to drug and substance abuse. However, at this point, I would like to invite James to give us his closing remarks, and then we will end the presentation. James, over to you.
Excellent, thanks, Jonah, and thank you everybody for your questions and your reflections on the presentation today. What is remarkable is that, you know, no matter what country I'm presenting to, or, you know, what country the schools I'm training or the impact organizations I'm supporting, we're hearing very similar things about the impact of things like COVID, or the timeliness of speaking about these skills at this very moment in time with, you know, the changes in climate, or the impact of automation on employment. That, you know, I think Skills Build partnership and the Universal Framework has really come around at the right time. But I suppose there is some comfort in that, you know, there are lots of other countries across the globe who are facing similar issues. And with that, we've seen some real success stories as well of how the Universal Framework has been implemented and embedded into a variety of different education institutions, working with young learners, older learners, learners with particular needs in an inclusive setting. You know, it's a very powerful, flexible tool, and I'm sure that, you know, the support that Jonah will be able to offer as part of the Skills Build Africa program this year will really, you know, support you and your teachers to use that tool effectively to build the essential skills of all your students. So I look very much forward to hearing from Jonah, like all the fantastic case studies and stories of impact that the program will have. Yeah, I wish you all the very best. So yeah, I'll just hand back to Jonah.
Thank you very much, James. Thanks everyone for attending. In case you'd like us to deliver a presentation virtually, online, such as this one, to the teachers in your school, or maybe you are a teacher and the head is not here and you want us to do that, we are happy to do it. So please just send an email to ethel@skillsbuilderafrica.org. The email address is on your screens right now. I've also posted it in the chat, and we will send it through a follow-up message. And we are very happy to assist you, to assist your team to fully understand what Skills Builder has to offer and to help you to adapt it, adopt it, adapt it, and implement it. Thank you, everybody. Have a pleasant day. And I wish you the best in this hectic period when we're having exams. Thanks. Goodbye for now.
Thank you, Jonah. Be blessed.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye. James, please send the recording once it's ready and I'll forward it.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. Thank you, Jonah. Have a good day, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.